really, I mean, as you've said, I mean, this is all, of course, we've been working in this area, but now we have to take action. So, and it costs money. So we know that with COVID, the city is going to be facing over the next year or two some revenue challenges, reduced revenues and potential budget shortfalls. So how do you envision balancing your housing vision with other competing needs?
Well, again, as I said, like this is my top priority, one of my absolute top priorities along with education. So it would take, and these are capital investments. Again, a lot of this money doesn't have to come from the city. Once again, we have a huge foundation community here that is investing money very often in equities on the stock market, and that money never trickles back here. And they have their own fiduciary duty and decisions to make, but look, I think there are some really compelling and creative ways that we can encourage local foundation and local investors to invest in affordable housing in Chattanooga. I should also say though too, not to negate the premise of the question, but sales tax collections are actually not down, at least not through July. We're waiting on the September numbers. But, you know, hopefully, I mean, one of the, you know, this is not a debate about public health versus economics, but whatever your stance is on the county mayor and the governor's stance regarding how locked down things should be versus not locked down, for whatever reason, sales tax collections have not suffered greatly. So the budget shortfall is not going to be as dire as we feared, I don't think. That being said, you know, I do think COVID is going to cause, we're already seeing people moving in here from out of markets from other cities, which is going to create further stress on this gap between affordable housing and because income levels aren't rising. So the problem is going to be as bad or worse to address. Again, maybe our income won't go down at the city coffers, but the need will probably increase. So look, but as I said, this is going to be one of my top priorities. And I don't think, along with education, it's one of the most important things we can do long-term strategically for the future of Chattanooga. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so to your point, I mean, one of the things that we've noticed is while all of the affordable housing numbers are pegged to the area median income, which HUD, the federal government, generates, and the area median income has grown exponentially over the last few years, but we know that people that are earning $11 an hour, their wages haven't increased.
Right.
And it's folks that are earning more money moving in, which is great for the economy, generating a lot of jobs, but it's not helping our workforce that are earning $11, $12 an hour, even, I mean, minimum wage jobs, for example, as well. And so the housing disparity between what's available for folks that really help are the economic engine in many ways of our community, and being able to ensure that they have places to live that are affordable.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we don't want to become Jackson, Wyoming,
right,
where this, you know, the Gini coefficient here could become grotesquely large. And you know, look, that's not, and that's why, you know, the next mayor, this is not going to be an easy job. It really is a Goldilocks problem because we want development on the one hand. Absolutely, we do. Our long-term longitudinal growth rate here is well behind our regional peers. But at the same time, if that happens, it could create this and almost will, if not address, create this gap that also isn't sustainable. And we know that divided economies never end well. That's a bit larger part of my vision, is creating an economy that works for everybody and rebuilding the middle class here. So these things are intimately related.
Mm-hmm. So the Times Free poll that came out, in addition to vision, it also talked for the first time that I remember affordable housing as being an issue. Yeah. So I think as we're seeing housing prices go up, more and more people are getting squeezed, and it's on the radar. So obviously, and which is a good thing, a lot of the other mayoral candidates are also talking about affordable housing as a pressing priority for them. But what do you think would set you apart in this area from other candidates?
Well, let me just say this. I'll say no matter what becomes of this election, I'm encouraged by the fact that that a lot of these talking points are converging, right? This dialogue is good for Chattanooga. Very frankly, I think they're converging around, my policy stuff because it's been on our website for many months. But that's a good thing because I think we're talking about the right issues. So it comes down to who can actually execute the plan, right? And I do think, if I didn't think I were the best candidate in the race, I would not be running, because the last thing I want to do is do a disservice to Chattanooga. I have no further political ambition whatsoever, right? So I think that's important to note here. Well, that's one of the things that sets me apart, is because of that, I'm willing to take on long-term projects and initiatives that may be a little either just not, I wouldn't hope they're not unpopular, but at the same time, they may not pay off in my term or in my lifetime, but I don't care, right? That's not going to keep me from pursuing the right thing because it's best for Chattanooga. I'd also say, look, I have a wealth of business and finance experience. I understand the nuts and bolts of this stuff. I've built plenty of stuff. I understand debt and leverage. I know, where the levers and buttons are. Also, my nonprofit work, both at Community Foundation and Benwood. Again, I was fortunate to get a nice preview of that, of Charles Bucke's report, and read it cover to cover twice. I know it front to back. And so I understand these issues, and I can hit the ground running on day one.
Well, I want to thank you. But before we end, is there anything that you want to add that we haven't covered that you want folks to know?
I should just say on that last point, I neglected to mention, we've also created, when I'm not sure other candidates have, we've taken this approach of creating working groups, and we've created a working group around neighborhood development in particular, in a policy guide, which it's probably not up on the website yet, but it will be very, very soon. It won't be that different from the report you produced, but it is different. It's largely based on that stuff, because there's not a policy area that I can think of, and we've covered everything from entrepreneurship to homelessness to criminal justice reform. There's not one where very frankly it overlaps so completely with a nonprofit's mission and vision as yours. So again, thanks to C&E and to you for putting that out there, because it's been tremendously helpful, not only to me, but to every candidate, I hope. Mm-hmm. So no, over and above that, I would just again repeat that I'm a very nonpartisan guy. I don't have a political affiliation. That's a handicap in this race, because I don't have a whatever your political party is, I don't have the benefit of outrage and hatred against the other side. All I have to lean on is my love of Chattanooga and making Chattanooga the best city that it possibly can be. And I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and entrepreneurs hate wasted potential. And I know you wouldn't be here either if you didn't understand that Chattanooga has incredible potential. But I make it my life's work to see Chattanooga live up to that potential. And that's the only reason I'm doing this.
Okay. Thank you, Tim. And I want to wish you the best of luck in your campaign, and everyone vote on March 2nd.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.